Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to a wonderful Friday morning here on Mornings with the Outlaw. I am the Outlaw, John Rocha. How are you? How's everything going on in your world? Excited to talk about so many things today. We got so many things to get to, so many things to go over and touch on, and I'm glad you all could join me this morning to do it all with me here on Mornings with the Outlaw. And I'm using my MacBook Pro for the first time because that iMac is just too much of an issue for me. So if I'm darting in and out with my eyes, I'm just getting used to using the MacBook Pro and doing all of that with it. I want to thank all you all for being in here with me. Everybody can hear me, right? Everybody's cool. Is it all good to go? Just want to make sure you guys can hear me and we're good to go. And the camera's working. Everything's been set up. Yes, sir. We are live. We are live. Jake Yacovetta in here again. Thank you, Jake, again for another phenomenal thumbnail with help from Wiley Todd. Really fun thumbnail going on there. Let's say hi to everybody who's in here. Andrew G, what's going on? MK Songbird, how are you? Haskell 420, yes, let's get it on. Rick Samoris, Matthew Marceau, all of you all in here. Marie Zambeno, happy Friday, everyone. Thanks for keeping me grounded as I've not left the house at all in 2 weeks. Even my homebody self is getting a little nuts, LOL. Well, Marie, what I do is I take off in the car for like half an hour, 45 minutes, just drive around the neighborhood, drive around the area, go get me a bagel sandwich or something, just something to kind of break the monotony of being at home. Of course, keeping the social distance and everything. And everybody's really, really good about that here, to be honest with you. Everyone's got the space. You know, I ventured out to Target yesterday to try and get some TP, and there wasn't much at all there, but everyone was keeping their distance, so I appreciated that. But I get it. So if you've got a car, I would recommend just getting in the car and driving around because it's a way to keep that distance and also kind of feel like you're outside in a way, even though you're inside of the car. Yeah, Andrew G says, don't forget to get out there and walk and get some fresh air. Absolutely. I do that all the time. Now at night, my lady and I, we take an hour-long walk at night where there's less people out, so it's always good. Yeah, Haskell 420 is right. Share today's link, everyone. Yeah, guys, share the link. Share it on your social media. Like it. Give it a like, please. Always appreciate the love and the support you give it. Eric Stevenson, he said he's looking forward to Ozark Season 3. Dalton Johnson, hey, guys, am I mistaken? Didn't John do an Outlaw Nation show last Thursday? I was, for some reason, expecting a show last night. No, that was a special show I did last Thursday, and I'll be doing a special one today. Drew will be my guest. Video Drew will be my guest later on today. We're going to do a live stream, I think around 5 here on the Outlaw Nation channel with her, so that'll be a lot of fun. Look for that later on. Let's see. Back 946. How are you? J. Scott Friel, what's going down? Suge Knight. What's up, Suge Knight? Thanks for the Streamlabs love. Yeah, that's right, people. The Streamlabs are open. The Super Chats are here for you as well. Any questions you want to ask, you know, it's Friday. Let's do our thing. Going to be running till about 9:40, a little bit around 9:40. I've got an interview at 10 a.m. this morning with this promising young Irish actress. Her name is Hermione Corfield. She will be on the Deep Cut with me. We'll be doing it remotely, obviously, but she's got a new film called Sea Fever. It's this Irish science fiction horror film that she is in with Doug Ray Scott, you know, the guy who was going to be Wolverine, and Connie Nielsen. So they're all in this with her. And of course, she's been seen in like Star Wars The Last Jedi. She's been in Mission Impossible. She's been in Triple X, The Return of Xander Cage. And she's done a number of smaller independent films that have really kind of made her bones as an actress. So I'm looking forward to sitting down and having a conversation with her later this morning at 10 a.m. my time. So I have to kind of cut this short a little bit early just in case. Matthew Hannon, finally a day off. Great way to start the morning with some coffee and the Outlaw. Thank you so much for joining me, Matthew. I really appreciate it. Queen George Jim, hello. See that guy over there? What's going down? Justin Towns, hello, sir. How are you? Hope you're enjoying your morning, my man. Thanks for taking it. Thanks for taking the time to hang out with us. Let's see. Ronnie Padilla, what's up? What's up? Eric Stevenson says, "It sound good. Thank you, John." Manny Gonzalez, thank you, Eric. Manny Gonzalez says, "Howdy, John. What's for food time?" Well, because I have a busy morning and afternoon, because after the interview, I've also got to record a Picard review with my geek buddies there. We're doing the last 2 episodes. If you guys watched that finale last night, what a finale. No spoilers, but what a finale. We're going to do that review, and then after that, I'll take a little bit of a break, have some lunch, and then Steve and I are going to do Field of Dreams for the Cinephiles. We're recording that ahead of time, so that will be coming down the pike. So Friday is a busy day for me. Justin Downs, Christopher Castro, how are you? Matthew Hanna says I'm showering good. Camshaft, good to see you. Tim Franco in early. What's up, Tim? How are you, oh man? Thanks for joining me this morning, this early. Calm down, Rich. Morning. How are you, Mr. Spock? Yes, peace and long life. Yes. Hey, thank you. Sean Barreto, good morning. Hank V, cruising, or what that means. Robert Young says it's the afternoons in Bournemouth. So, good afternoon. That's right, Bournemouth. AFC Bournemouth, I know that team. Cameron Hainsworth, good morning, my brother. Good morning to you, sir. Let's see. Manny G is up in here, of course, causing some trouble. Jason Yassine, what's going down? Andy Burnett, hello. Happy time zone to you. Kyle Gerbrandt, what's up? Tally Lintra, don't let Ken know. Okay, cool. Let's see. Sean Barreto, can't wait to see you in video, Drew, later today. Yes, we will be doing it later today. Anybody else? Ben Rayner, what's up, Ben? Good to see you. And Level 2 says, I gave you my like. Level 2 trading. Thank you, Level 2. I appreciate that madly. You're very, very kind for giving me your like. I am a big fan of that situation. So I'm going to do the best I can with all these different windows that are up and try and get you all the information that I had getting ready to talk about here today, and also keep track of the chat, keep track of the super chats. It's going to be a lot, but I'm looking forward to doing it and having a little fun with you guys while we do this thing. And let me drop some windows so I don't get too overwhelmed and I can get into certain things like the Streamlabs when they come up. So let me log into that real quick and make sure you guys, if you're going to send in things, I'll be able to answer those questions. So, and soon. Have you guys noticed like how difficult it is to get something delivered on Amazon now? I was trying to get a new pop filter cover for this thing, and unfortunately it's going to take like 4 weeks to get here, and by that time my mind is like, what is the point? Oh, already a Streamlabs. Thank you so much. Anthony Persak stopped in. He said, just wanted to say good morning and thanks for the stream. Hashtag Outlaw Nation. Hashtag Logan commentary. LOL. Well, I should announce to you all too as well. Wiley Todd and John Mariano have been incredible in helping me set up the Patreon finally once and for all. So now we've scheduled some watch-alongs, we've scheduled some hangouts. All those things are coming down the pike. So if you want to be a part of the Patreon, I'll do another plug later at the end of the show. Please feel free to do that as you're looking at the graphic there. The Patreon down below. This side down below there, www.patreon.com/John Rocha. Give it some love, and of course the Streamlabs address is there as well. So give that some love if you want to send in some of your questions as well. Yes, let me see thank you, Anthony. I appreciate it. And I want to give some love to the people who've subscribed to the channel over the last 24 hours. Thank you, Just Jeff 45, Coach Kaijo, Audrey Putra, Malik Baldwin, Boba Vet. Nice, Boba Vet. I like that. Johnny and the Black Frames. That's awesome. Johnny and the Black Frames. Chris Delaverne, Victor A, Above and Beyond, and Michael Turner. So I appreciate them subscribing to the channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel below. See that red thing that says subscribe? Please click it. Give me some love here on the interwebs and on the internet, and get me up to 20,000. That's what I'm trying to get to, is that 20,000 subscribers mark. That's really the key to everything here in Outlaw Nation and on the Outlaw channel. So some love would be fantastic. All right, got almost 100 of y'all in here. Please swing over and give it a like, and let's jump into things. Let's start off. Let's just jump into it. Let's get going. All right, we had news over last night or yesterday that Doctor Strange 2 is on course. Ladies and gentlemen, at least there's some positive news this morning. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, aka Doctor Strange 2, is on track to begin production this June. You know, they announced the film at Comic-Con last year with Cumberbatch set to return as Dr. Stephen Strange. He'll be joined by Elizabeth Olsen, who's going to be, of course, playing Wanda Maximoff, a.k.a. the Scarlet Witch, and of course her TV show WandaVision. It's been noted and reported that that's going to kind of set in motion things that are going to happen in the Multiverse of Madness. And there was a little bit of drama behind the scenes, everyone remembers. There was the situation with Scott Derrickson stepping down for quote-unquote creative differences. And then, of course, the rumor is that Sam Raimi stepped in to take over, and you'll have some more. It'll be interesting to see what Sam Raimi comes up with here with this character. I wasn't one of these people that was 1,000% on board with this idea, but always going to reserve judgment until I see the final product or I see the first trailer for sure. And, of course, this is supposed to have some horror elements to it. So Sam Raimi is an excellent choice. And this is coming from Variety. They're reporting this. It might be able to avoid the delay. They're saying the film is still in pre-production and work has been able to carry on remotely. And sources say it is still on track to begin filming in June. If the situation worsens, they say this could change, but June is far enough away that it's too early to tell. It also might depend on where Multiverse of Madness will begin production. As Variety notes, films shooting in the U.S. might be able to begin sooner than others. Yeah, interesting, because certain sections are being cordoned off, or as Trump is saying, he wants to start this thing up on Easter. So who knows if that's an excuse the studios will use to start the production. I don't know, to be honest with you. But they're pre-production. They're not supposed to start shooting until June. So a lot of people are kind of predicting this thing to kind of crest and start to go down around May. So maybe they'll be in a situation where they can go to these locations and start doing some early shooting, some second unit stuff or some quick first unit stuff and what have you. So that's certainly a possibility. But I think it's good to start with some positive news because so many of our favorite films or films we were looking forward to seeing rather have been pushed and delayed, and the production has been kind of like, I don't know, it's been indefinitely delayed to the point we wonder when these things are coming out and how it's going to affect things. Variety does say that it wasn't the Black Widow that they were worried about pushing Disney and Marvel necessarily, because I think that's kind of a standalone on its own prequel type of film. But it's the Multiverse of Madness that if they start to move that from the June shoot date, then there might be some issues for the rest of the MCU. Of course, we've got Eternals coming down in November, and that got shut down. Shang-Chi and The Legend of the Ten Rings got shut down, and that's an indefinite shutdown. The director himself putting himself in self-quarantine, thinking he might have caught something as well. Fantastic Beasts got pushed back as well. So the production has been shutting down over the past few weeks, and but this is one that's still kind of like churning along, doing its pre-production, setting things up. I know people who are still doing auditions for shows and for hosting gigs. They're self-taping, they're doing whatever. So that's out there in the world as well. So certainly there are productions that are still moving forward, anticipating that at some point this is going to break. We'll get on top of the coronavirus or the COVID-19, and we'll come back to normal, and productions will start hitting the ground. Now, it's like the waiting period is tough, but right after the waiting period comes, what are we going to do now, right? And that's the concern that a lot of studios are going to have as this thing keeps going, is like, okay, what is the next step for us? How are we going to move everything around? So I imagine there's a lot of contingency plans being worked out now, depending on what date this all comes back. And we'll see. We'll see how it all comes back in a little bit, certainly in a couple of months for sure. Multiverse of Madness currently has a May 2021 release date, and of course that's going to be with Scarlet Witch there. As you see, they're going to be together, so I'm looking forward to it because you get Wong coming out. Benedict Wong is coming back for sure. I'm pretty sure Chiwetel Ejiofor is coming back, but Rachel McAdams is not coming back. So I imagine that Wanda Maximoff or Elizabeth Olsen is going to slide into that role. I don't mean as a love interest. I mean more as a companion to what this journey is going to go on or be. And one thing I do want to say, and I want to make sure this is clear, I want to make sure that I get this right. I want to bring myself up here, guys. Spoiler. This is a spoiler, possible spoiler for the villain in Multiverse of Madness. There's rumors about a possible villain or who the villain is going to be. Spoilers. I don't want to mess with anybody. I don't want to kind of say anything. So if you want to turn it down for just like 2 minutes, there's a number of sites that are speculating that the villain is going to be, I want to make sure, spoiler, I want to make sure no one gets any kind of, please, I don't want to get any trouble here with anybody, but the villain is supposed to be Nightmare. And Nightmare is the ruler of the dream dimension. He brings tortured people there in their sleep. And the character first appeared in Strange Tales number 110, created by Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, the character is. So that's the rumor. And so, there was a lot of rumors about this idea that this is going to be a horror film. And if you've got someone like Nightmare in there ruling the dream dimension, of course, a lot of people thinking immediately in their heads Neil Gaiman, that kind of stuff. But like this is something completely different. But it has shades of the Freddy Krueger vibe, doesn't it? This idea that there is a person who comes into your nightmares, into your dreams, and brings tortured people there in their sleep, bring tortured people in their sleep to the dream dimension and maybe messing with them and that kind of stuff. So that will be interesting. Maybe we'll see Dormammu make an appearance in this as well in the dream dimension as it goes along. But either way, I love the idea that they're doing this. I love the idea they're exploring this more and more and seeing what they can create with this situation. It excites me on so many levels, and I love the idea of Nightmare being a part of this. What about you guys? Are you guys excited about seeing Doctor Strange 2? Are you excited that it's going on in June, so we're not in a bad situation overall? I mean, what do you guys think? Let's see. What do we got? Let's see any Streamlabs jumping through. Let's see. Oh, yeah, Andrew G said, I love the idea of Raimi directing a Doctor Strange, but here's the thing. Will he, and this is from Andrew G, will he actually be able to do what he wants to do? I doubt it. I feel like Marvel and Feige have a pretty tight leash on directors with very few exceptions, but I could be wrong. Well, I think that you could certainly make a case or an argument that he might not be allowed to do what he wants to do, but I think he will be to a certain extent. Feige and Raimi have a previous relationship, Andrew G. They've been friends in the past. They've worked together in the past. So he would know how to kind of navigate this with Sam Raimi. And I think Raimi understands too. I'm walking into a system, right? And he's dealt with the system already with Spider-Man 1 and 2. Of course, 1 and 2, a lot of people like 1 and 2. They don't like 3, obviously, universally. And who knows, maybe that's him running out of gas, just like Joss Whedon did in Avengers Age of Ultron. That's certainly a possibility. But overall, I think this is a positive thing to have Sam Raimi involved to see what he can do. This is an older director. Maybe he's got some understanding of how the system works there. And so he can transition into this situation positively. And I think Sam Raimi is good with a leash on him, Andrew G. I'll be honest with you. I think, you look at Darkman, you look at, Evil Dead, you look at Army of Darkness. Those are fun films, but this is something else. This is a strong property. You don't want to make Doctor Strange a campy horror film. You don't want to do that, at least in my opinion. I don't want to see a campy horror film with Doctor Strange. I want to see something a little more layered, a little more complex, a little more powerful, something that sticks with you, because that's the thing I enjoyed about the first Doctor Strange. That stuck with me after it was over, everything that he went through and how it ended and what he had to go, the journey he had to go on. That stuck with me strongly and powerfully. So I enjoy the first Doctor Strange. So I don't want to see weird faces and blah, things of that nature that you see sometimes in Darkman and Evil Dead and Army of Darkness and some of his other stuff. Now, Drag Me to Hell is fantastic. That's a damn good Sam Raimi film that doesn't rely on too much of the camp. It keeps that horror right on top of things. So for me, I could see that. But Ryan Coogler, Zeno Hour puts it out here. James Gunn, Ryan Coogler, Taika Waititi had grit and freedom. I think there's misunderstanding about how Marvel Studios work. Yeah, I think sometimes people paint Marvel Studios with the same brush that they paint other studios who get overly intrusive and overly puppeteer-like with their directors. Marvel doesn't do that. I think Marvel, they have strong conversations ahead of time, and if it's not working out, they cut the cord. I'm sure, you can argue that with Disney as well. Kathleen Kennedy has an idea. She has an idea of where they want to go, and then they go down for it. As soon as she realizes it isn't the right thing, she cuts the cord. And I think you see that with the Marvel universe as well. Feige understands, has conversations, and then boom, they move it out of that situation. If they're not making it work, they move the director out of that situation. If it's not working, or if it's created differences or issues, we saw that with Scott Derrickson. Pretty easy, pretty quickly. Scott Derrickson, yes, I'm coming back. Conversations with Feige. I don't want to do what you're asking me to do. I don't like this idea. Boom, they go and in another direction. I think that's a positive to make sure you get what's right. Now, it doesn't mean that they're on top of their directors. I would hate to think that Taika Waititi or Ryan Coogler can be easily manipulated or forced to do something with their movies. So I think you have to create a little more space. I think they're incredibly successful at bringing in new voices into the Marvel universe and letting them do their thing for the most part. You could argue Taika Waititi's film is a very different film than any of the other Thors, of course. Black Panther is a very different film from any of the origin stories that you've seen in the Marvel Universe, and that one got nominated for Best Picture. Whatever your feelings are, whether it should have been or should have been or shouldn't have been, it's still a pretty incredible thing to hang on that film that it got nominated for Best Picture. So I think these directors do get a chance to come in and do their own thing. I would argue that Ryan Fleck and Anna Boden came in and did their own thing with Captain Marvel. It just wasn't a positive result. I don't think it has anything to do with Feige being on top of them. I think this is just about these two. Maybe the sandbox was a little too big for them, and they created a film that wasn't that great to watch or wasn't that interesting. And I enjoyed her, and I enjoyed some of Lashana Lynch's stuff, and Jude Law, of course, and Annette Bening. It was great to see, but overall, just didn't 100% work. So yeah, I would push back and say they do get a chance to do their thing once they're in the Marvel window. All right, let's see. Does anybody else have any super chats or Streamlabs? Just want to check real quick. Oh, here we go. All right, cool. People joining in. Thank you. Andy Burnett said, let me take a drink real quick before I answer Andy's Streamlabs and the rest of y'all Streamlabs. Hold on. Thank you for that. Andy Burnett. Movie studios might be on a standstill, but The Outlaw is not. No, I am not. Keep up the hard work. It will pay off. Glad to be a Patreon member. Doctor Strange is not my favorite, but still looking forward to it. Oh, that's cool. I appreciate that. Yes. But thank you so much for the love for the Outlaw Nation and for the work I'm doing. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Andy. And of course, Doctor Strange, it's not everyone's cup of tea. I know a lot of people say they don't like it. So I get that. But for me, it worked. I'm into that kind of Eastern philosophy. I've studied Buddhism. I've done, I'm also grew up Catholic. So, but the transition, but I'm always open to exploring any number of things. And I think Doctor Strange does a great job of exploring the inner to affect the outer. And as I've gotten older, I've realized how important that is to work on the inner, because the inner really does decorate what you do in the outer. And I think that's important to factor in. And there's a great scene near the end of the movie with Doctor Strange and Tilda Swinton's character. And they have that conversation about, what you have to do with this mantle and what it means to be in this mantle, what it means to follow this path. And so I really appreciated that, which is one of the reasons why it's a positive for me. And thank you for being a Patreon member, Andy. We've got so much coming down the pike. No lie. So much coming down the pike. PC, thank you so much. Outlaw, I know what your favorite line from Shawshank is, and mine, some birds aren't meant to be caged. Their feathers are just too bright. Gave it a rewatch since I hadn't seen it since high school. One sleepless night. So good. It is, PC. Shawshank Redemption is one of my favorites. One I turn to all the time. Actually, it's funny you bring this up, to be honest with you. One of the biggest moments of my life when I started to make a decision about what I wanted to do with my life and where I wanted to go was Shawshank Redemption. I remember watching it on TNT or TBS in the late 90s when they were starting to show it. And, mid-90s, a little bit after the mid-90s, maybe 96, 97, right around that time. I remember I was going to community college at night to try to get my degree so I could decide if I wanted to go back to college full on and back to Florida State. And I remember one night I was watching it, and there's that line that Andy has, and he says, you got to get busy living or get busy dying. And that just kind of struck me like a diamond bullet in my heart. And I was like, oh man, that's the truth. I can't keep worrying about what I haven't been able to do. I've got to start the process of being able to create what I can do. And that film really kind of struck me with that line that day, watching it. And I just started the process of planning on going back to school, and went back to Florida State, became an actor, studied in London, came back to Florida State, then graduated, started my own production company, made enough money to move out to LA, and then went through my own struggles in LA as well to climb out of it. So it's like, these are all transition moments in your life, and movies are incredibly powerful to do that. And you're right. Some birds aren't meant to be caged. Their feathers are just too bright is a great, great line. And Morgan Freeman, just fantastic. By the way, the other night we dove deep into Frank Caliendo, my lady and I, because we were watching something and it sounded like Morgan Freeman. And I was like, who's got a great Morgan Freeman impression is Frank Caliendo. So if you go on YouTube and you haven't seen this, treat yourself, or you haven't seen it in a while, treat yourself again. Watch him on, I think it's Mike and Mike, ESPN's Mike and Mike. He reads LeBron's letter to Cleveland when he was leaving Miami that he wrote on that plane. Oh my God. It's one of the best Morgan Freeman impressions you're ever ever going to see. Thank you so much for donating, PC. It's always good to see you here. Wiley, what's up, my man? Rocha, my friend, just watched GoldenEye for the first time last night because of watching all the Bond films. And gotta be honest, it's okay. Not as hyped as most people are when talking about the movie. Not top 5 or even 7 of the Bond films for me. Your thoughts? Well, first of all, Wiley, I'll say this. I haven't seen GoldenEye in a bit. I remember enjoying it when I saw it. I certainly like it more than some of the other ones in Brosnan's repertoire, for sure. I like GoldenEye because you get a good Famke Janssen. I think Xenia on top, I think is her name or something like that. I think she's great in the film. I thought he's good in the film. Remember, it's his first time out, so he's kind of feeling it out a little bit. But I didn't like the one with Jonathan Pryce. Tomorrow Never Dies, I think is what it's called. I didn't like the one with Halle Berry and Rosamund Pike. I wasn't a big fan of that one either. I did like The World Is Not Enough, but you can make a case that that the Pierce Brosnan films overall aren't the strongest Bond films. I think for me personally, I think it's Daniel Craig, Sean Connery, then maybe Pierce Brosnan and Roger Moore and Timothy Dalton. But some people would put Roger Moore above Pierce Brosnan. So certainly not as strong in retrospect of a Bond as we were initially led to believe. So the fact that you didn't enjoy it that much or thought it also probably feels dated, to be honest with you. Some of those concepts and those ideas of the Cold War and the former 00 coming back, Sean Bean, all of that probably is a bit much to take now in retrospect, but wouldn't be a bad idea to do some watch-alongs of these Bond films. Maybe that could be fun for the Patreon on the Outlaw Nation, revisiting some of the Bond films, maybe with Kalinowski and I remotely doing a rewatch of the Bond films, having conversations. We shall see. Anthony Persack donated. Thanks. Well, I appreciate it, Wiley. Thanks. And thanks again for help on the thumbnail, my man. Thanks for all the help you're doing here for the Outlaw Nation. I thoroughly appreciate it, brother. Anthony Persack donated. He said, here's an extra 5 because you always pronounce my name right. Also, would like to tell everyone to be safe and only go out when needed. I don't mean to sound preachy, but I see a lot of ignorant fucks while working night shift at a gas station. Not worth it. Yeah, I bet you do, Anthony. Not a surprise at all. People aren't built to be caged. Like PC just said, some birds aren't meant to be caged. They do not like to be told what to do. They think the government is telling them to stay inside. And some people are just convincing themselves that it's not that big of a deal. It doesn't help. And look, I'm not trying to get political. This is Mornings with the Outlaw. We're chilling out, having a good time. But also, I think it doesn't help that people are on Fox News and other places trying to downplay the severity of this, trying to say that, people made a bigger deal out of it than it actually is, trying to blame governors or mayors so that their dear leader doesn't get blamed. And the truth is, we don't have time for that shit. We don't. Just tell the truth about what's out there. Let people know what's going on. Don't downplay it because people are going to die. While you're sitting in your ivory towers, behind your microphones, in your secure area of Fox News, and you're driven from place to place because you don't ever have to get in your car and drive your car anywhere because Fox News takes you from your job to your home and back and forth, you don't get exposed to this kind of stuff. Well, real people are out there in the world, driving to the gas station late at night, doing whatever, going to Target, sitting in those long lines at Costco, trying to keep those 6 feet of distance, trying to stay alive. I had someone tweeted us or send us messages that a majority of their family, a friend on Instagram posted this, a majority of her family in New York got this virus and they were being as cautious as possible. So carriers are walking around with this thing inside them and they don't even know they're passing it on to other people. So when news anchors try to downplay it and erase the severity of it because they're afraid it looks bad on their leader, or when you have their leader saying bullshit to a reporter saying like, oh, you guys in the media want me to lose my reelection, or you guys in the media want the economy to tank, that's absolute just insanity. And it's so irresponsible because people are going to die from this irresponsibility because you're afraid you might not get reelected. You're afraid the economy might tank. That's a mistake. Look, I don't care what side of the aisle you are on. Some things you just have to look at as a human being. And this is a human thing. People are going to die because people are being irresponsible with their platforms, with their narratives, with their points of views, putting it out there because it serves their interest. And I think that's so incorrect. Yes, did the media fly off the handle a little bit with this thing? Sure, you got to get clicks, whatever. But if you're smart enough, you can disseminate what's really important for you to hold on to and go. It's no different than reading articles about movies or about things that are coming out. You can disseminate those articles and pick out the things that you know is feels real, sounds authentic, and you can take that into the next thing. And you can read things that are speculative or for clicks. Hell, all of us in this sphere know what articles are put out there for clicks and what articles are actually put out there to be legitimate news sources or news articles. And you can do that with everything in life. So it isn't about the media and all this kind of crap. This is the truth. There's facts out there, and people need to be on top of those facts so they can take care of themselves and take care of their family. It isn't just about you. It's you can pass it on to your mom or your dad or your grandfather, or your grandmother, or your uncles or your aunts, or even someone who's a relation of yours, a more immediate relation, who's a brother or a sister or whatever, who may have an underlying condition, and it could really affect them. Hell, even WrestleMania, Ryan Satin posted this yesterday. Roman Reigns is not fighting at WrestleMania because he doesn't want to take the chance that one of the guys or one of the people he's fighting or one of the people in the back might have this COVID-19 and not know they have it, because carriers don't show symptoms for quite some time, might not know they have it, and give it to him. And he has leukemia he fought back from, so the last thing he wants to do is die over a wrestling match, which is not really his mindset. So if people like that are taking precaution, then I think news anchors need to be more responsible about the information they're giving out and doing it in a calm, a relaxed, confident, comforting manner. That's the way it should be. Anything less than that is irresponsible, and I think it's an accessory in a distant accessory to murder, and I think that's scary. So, that's, damn it, I got into a Rocha rant again. I'm sorry, guys. I apologize. I didn't mean to get into a Rocha rant or get too crazy with anybody with this stuff, but I just want people to live. I love all you guys so much, so I don't want you guys to have any kind of problems. Anyway, and look, and I'm not bashing. I'm just saying there are certain anchors in either side. Either you'll see certain anchors that make it a little more or start to get a little too pompous. Like watching Cuomo the other day argue with his own brother. I thought, dude, get this off the air. Go and do this off the air. There's real stuff going on. No one needs to see you guys bashing each other as brothers about how one can be long-winded over the other. Who gives a shit? People are really dying. So it doesn't matter what news site it is. It's a matter of like finding the things that are the actual truth, listening to that and implementing that in your life. So I just want to make sure that's clear. It's happening on both sides. I want to make sure that's clear, and I want it to be handled. All right, there's 140 all in here. Thank you so much for joining me here on Mornings with the Outlaw. Would love it if you swung over there and gave it a like. It's I have 89 likes right now. I'd like to get over 100 likes. Like to get close to that 150 likes before I wrap this thing up. I got into a little bit of a tangent there. I apologize to you all. Hope I didn't hurt anybody's feelings. I'm not trying to. I just have my points of views on these things, and I just want to make sure that you all stay alive and take the precautions necessary to stay alive, because I want to see you back here hanging out with the Outlaw and hanging out with me, doing all kinds of stuff, and staying a citizen and a member of the Outlaw Nation, of the nation for sure. All right, let me take another sip, and then we'll jump into a couple more Streamlabs here. All right. Suge Knight says, Morning Outlaw, wanted to ask you, what is your favorite Latin/Hispanic movie? Mine has always been Mi Familia and Blood In, Blood Out. Hope you have a great day. Can't wait to watch later when you have Video Drew on. Yeah, Suge, you're the man, Suge. Thank you so much for your question, brother man. Blood In, Blood Out is just one of those classics, man. I mean, everyone who sees it, they know it's not a great film, but it is fun to watch. It's like Scarface. Scarface is not a great film. It is fun to watch. Blood In, Blood Out is fun to watch. All of that, all of it that goes on there. And was it Damian Chapa and Benjamin Bratt's in this thing? So it is one of those ones I remember. I remember renting on VHS and watching it a few times. And so whenever it's on, I'll definitely watch like half an hour or whatever. But I think La Bamba is one of my favorite Latin Hispanic movies for real. Obviously directed by a Mexican director, starring Lou Diamond Phillips, who's Native American. I think he's Native American. He's not Latino. He's Native American. But you have Isai Morales in this, Elizabeth Pena, so many fantastic actresses and actors in the film. Joey Pants is in this thing, but it actually tells it feels very authentic and Latino. And in the 80s, there weren't a lot of Latino movies, so being able to go see that film was really powerful for me. I think El Norte, if you guys haven't seen El Norte, get ready for one of the most tragic Latino films you're ever going to see. That is such a powerful film. So much so that I've seen it twice, and I don't know if I can ever see it again. As a son of immigrants, it is a heartbreaking Latino/Hispanic film to watch. So, but the artistry behind that film is off the charts. So that is one that I would definitely recommend as a powerfully great Latino film for people to go see, for sure. Thank you, Shug, for the question. I respect it, brother. You're the man, my man. Thanks for moderating and all the stuff you do for the Outlaw Nation. You've jumped into doing that, and I really appreciate it madly, dude. Andrew G. Donated again. Said, oh, shit, I forgot it was Friday. New Clone Wars today. Loved last week's episode. I'll hit Disney Plus as soon as we're done with Mornings with the Outlaw. This second half of the season should be really good. Looking forward to some Geek Buddies reviews. Yeah, definitely. We'll be reviewing it and talking about it. We just dropped our new episode of the Geek Buddies yesterday. What's today? Friday? No, we dropped it yesterday. So if you haven't listened to us on the Geek Buddies or haven't given it a chance, please feel free and go do that on the channel. It's also available on podcast form. Down there, you can see the address for it. Oh, and I should probably announce, speaking of which, so the Outlaw Nation Network is coming to podcast form. Want to announce it to all of you. Yes, it is coming to. It's taken a long time because of the coronavirus putting things back on Anchor and putting things back on Apple. I'm waiting for Apple to approve it. It's approved on Google Podcasts, on Pocket Casts, on Radio Public, on Spotify, on Anchor, on a number of platforms, but I'm waiting for that last domino. That's the Apple domino to fall. Once Apple approves the podcast, then I'm dropping everything on there. I'll probably spend an entire day just uploading all the episodes of all the shows that have been on the Outlaw Nation Network. So all of you who've been asking about whether you can go back and just listen to the live streams or listen to the previous live streams or listen to the previous shows or the Outlaw Nation shows, all that kind of stuff will be on there on the Outlaw Nation. All the Mornings with the Outlaw will be on there for people to revisit or listen to if they want for the first time on the Outlaw Nation Podcast Network. So that is happening. So I will definitely put out thoughts and put out all that. Put out links and everything like that for the Outlaw Nation channel for sure. Good morning, Outlaw. Thank you, Shmoe. What's up? Always good to see you, my man. Always good to see you, Shmoe. Thank you so much. All right, let's jump into something else that happened that dropped this morning. I don't know if you guys saw this, but the Morbius poster dropped. What? The Morbius poster. Yeah, when everything is getting pushed back and moved around and whatever, Morbius is still doing its thing. Why? Because it's a vampire, so it's eternal. It's immortal, unless you get it in front of a mirror or whatever it is for the Morbius thing. But it's a pretty cool poster that has been put up. You can see he's got a little scar on his face there, doing his thing. I like the poster. I think it's the right vibe for it overall. And of course, this is it's coming after Venom and Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse for Sony, which did really, really well. But you see that kind of scar. You see the teeth on the other side of it. All of this feels a little Bravehearty with some of the blue makeup on the side of his face there. But I do like the poster. I think it's a strong poster. I enjoy the red eye too, as well, giving you like this idea that he's going to be something else. Also on the edges there, you can see something going on the side of the face. That as well, kind of transitioning from that normal, the scar and all that kind of stuff, everything there. So I'm a big fan of it. I enjoy it. What do you guys think? Did you like that poster? Do you think it puts you in the right place, right frame of mind for the movie? What do you think? The star? Kyle Gerbrandt says Starman, but a vampire. I respect that. Right. I respect that. Is people talking about Bond? Let's see. Yeah, so there you go. Not loving that bell-bottom jeans in canon. Is canon and stuff. Okay, there we go. And Thunder God Cairo 770 says that's some Photoshop work. Okay. Give me MK Songbird says just give me Blade. Just give me Blade. I got a couple super chats have rolled in here as well. I want to make sure I give them some love here. Matthew Hannon says, this is for your Rocha rant. I love it. Oh, thanks, Matthew. I appreciate that. Very kind of you. Charles A. says, have you seen Desierto with Jeffrey Dean Morgan? No, I have not. I should watch that. Oh, J. Scott Friel says it's a terrible poster. He does not like that. But Sean Barrett says that's a great poster, but still not sure how good the movie is going to be. And remember, this movie is going to be kind of connecting to the MCU, of course, when we saw Vulture in there, Michael Keaton at the end of that trailer. So it'll have something to do with that. So for sure. Christopher Castro says everything about this movie seems mediocre. So, all right. So we're getting both sides, both points of views. And thank you all so much. Crossed 100 likes. I appreciate it. Got 145 of y'all in here. Please give me some likes. Would really appreciate you sliding that cursor over and hitting that like button on this. And if you haven't subscribed to the Outlaw Nation channel, please, I'd love for you to subscribe to the Outlaw Nation channel as well. Got so much stuff that's happened this week. We had Mark Ellis coming on. We had an Outlaw Nation show that happened with Mark Ellis. He was fantastic. This thing is at almost 4,000 views. So please, if you haven't watched this, trust me, it's 2 hours and 15 minutes with one of the best dudes in the business. Mark Ellis, we had such a great time. It's always fun when Mark and I get down. Of course, some of you all got to ask your questions. Some of y'all came in live and got to ask your questions. And Ben Goddard even stopped in for like 10, 15 minutes. So 3 of us could be answering the fans' questions and the followers' questions as well. So it's always fun to hang out with my brother in life. He is one of the best dudes I know, and I always appreciate it. I'm humbled that he has time in his schedule to come on any of my shows because I'm such a massive fan of Mark Ellis, and he's been very instrumental to my career as much as Christian Harloff has. So, all right, and one other thing I want to remind you, programming-wise on the Outlaw Nation channel, our pro wrestling show, Strong Style. This is the one that I do with Aaron Turner down there in Orlando. Aaron and I used to review Raw and SmackDown for Collider for a long time before Ryan Satin came in. Then Ryan and I took over the reviews, but I was dying to do a wrestling show with Aaron once I left Collider, and this is the one, Strong Style. We've done a number of episodes already. This week's main show where we revisited WrestleMania 6 and talked about Ultimate Warrior versus Hulk Hogan. But this morning we dropped our review of the Dark Side of the Ring episode on the Chris Benoit tragedy, parts 1 and 2. We did a spoiler review on that. It's up there now, about half an hour. It's up there now if you want to take a look at it later on today. So just doing a little plug-in for my stuff. And as I said, happening around at 10 a.m. this morning, I'll be interviewing Hermione Corfield. She is the lead in this new film, Sea Fever, an Irish science fiction movie. So that was a TIFF. Was released at TIFF, rather, and has gotten a lot of buzz and some love from some reviews for it. Connie Nielsen and Doug Ray Scott are also a part of this one. Just watched it last night. Can't wait to talk to her about it. I'm looking forward to it. All right, let's jump back into some regular news here, and that is the Batman. The Batman is going to be pushed, is what they're saying, of the Batman and Matrix 4. Want to make sure I get that right. They are being moved a little bit, or the release dates are possibly in danger of being moved. If this is from Variety, they were initially estimating, the studio was, that the productions would come back in mid-May, but that is now seeming like it's going to be optimistic, considering what's happening in New York and what's starting to happen all over the country. We crossed 82,000 cases of the coronavirus of COVID-19 overnight, and I'm sure it's higher now as we're talking right now, and that is the most cases of any country in the world. Yes, we also have more, obviously more people, but you don't want to lead in this kind of category in any way, shape, or form, no matter what the statistics are, the comparison or the perspective is. You don't want to be doing that. So that's what it looks like right now, is they are moving this thing and letting them know that they don't expect to see these productions get back until mid-May. But it could be now with the pushback of Wonder Woman 1984, it could be even further than that before people get this thing going. So unfortunately, that's kind of the situation as it is now. And Mission Impossible also got delayed as well. So it'll be a bit until we see the Batman, and we'll hear if it's going to be what the new release date might be on this situation. Matrix 4 is another one. Matrix 4 had finished shooting as well, up there in San Francisco. They had done their thing, and they were about to begin production in Berlin, and the Batman had completed almost 7 weeks of filmmaking in London, and so there was there were possibilities here, but right now all of this stuff is in flux. There was a talk about a Furiosa spinoff for Mad Max. Anya Taylor-Joy was in talks to do that with George Miller, and they're hoping to start shooting in 2021. But George Miller was saying that the coronavirus is affecting all of that, and now he's auditioning people over Skype. Who knew you could audition over Skype. Pretty. I guess that's a way to do it in life. It's a way to get yourself booked on stuff. Charles H. Put in another super chat. He says it's a hard watch because he's going on hunting illegal immigrants crossing the border because it's something that probably has happened. I don't know what that means. Are you? Oh, Desierto. Oh, I see what you're saying. Is that what it is? Is Desierto? Is that what the film is? Is that Jeffrey Dean Morgan is hunting people across the border? Okay, I didn't know that. Well, Charles A., thank you so much for that super chat. Really appreciate it. Let's see if we got any more Streamlabs before I jump into the next thing here. PC donated. Oh, she said, just finished it. Shawshank. Wow, that was a more powerful ending than I remember. I need a friend like Andy. I hope. I hope. I appreciate that, PC. You've got a lot of people who are friends of yours in the Schmodown, from the Schmodown family. You and Jake Iacovetta. You don't think that's a friendship that you have? I think you guys have a strong friendship. I think you've got friends. You got to look around and maybe take stock of what you've got around you rather than pining for something that you think is coming down the pike. I think I've learned that as I've gotten older. Appreciate what's in front of you instead of worrying about what you don't have or thinking about what might be coming for you. Appreciate what's around you first so that when that other thing comes for you, you can be in the right frame of mind to enjoy it and to appreciate it for sure. All right, I'm going to take another sip of water here, kind of get back into the frame. Good stuff. Good stuff. So, we did have positive news about Doctor Strange, but a little bit of slightly negative news for, Matrix 4 and for the Batman. We'll see. I got over 150 y'all in here, but only 113 likes. Would like it if you could slide your cursor over, hit the like button on this thing, give it some love. Streamlabs are open, the Super Chats are open, and don't forget, if you want to subscribe to, to my Patreon, you can do so right below me, www.patreon.com/John Rocha. That's something that I would appreciate you all doing if you want to get involved with the Patreon. There's a lot coming down the pike here. Some watch-alongs of Schmodown matches, some movie watch-alongs that I'll be doing, some hangouts with you all where everything is on. Start streaming again. All right, let me see. Am I good? Let me check with y'all. Am I good? Am I good? Can you guys see me? Hello. Let me know. Just want to make sure you guys can see me because I had to restart the OBS. It stopped unexpectedly on its own. Are you guys hearing me good? Okay, cool. Thank you, MK Songbird. Thank you so much, man. I always appreciate you stepping forward and letting me know when this stuff is going down correctly. So I appreciate it madly, man. So those kind of things are happening. So if you want to get involved in that, there's definitely so much coming down the pike. And I'm looking forward to it. And it is Pike. Don't tell Ben Goddard I said that, but it is Pike. I don't want to mess him up. He gets so upset when he doesn't know words that he thought he knew in life. So I don't want to get him too mad about it. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be evil. That's funny. John Mariano did a fantastic job for the Patreon. He created this awesome picture that he sent me, and I'll see if I can bring it up here. And if I can get it to the right, there it is. The situation. It's a matter of, there it is. Doom. We're going to call it Hanging with the Outlaw. That's what it is. Come and hang out on my Patreon. You see there in the saloon. We're going to be hanging out in the saloon. I promise not to be as angry as that picture shows. But yes, we'll be in the saloon there hanging with the Outlaw, starting at $7 per month on Patreon. Join up. We're going to have some Q&As, games, watch-alongs. You guys can, get me ready for Ethan Irwin, get me studying, all that kind of stuff will be available on the Patreon. So go there, www.patreon.com/John Rocha. Let's have some fun. Let's have some fun in the Outlaw Nation, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do that and enjoy ourselves. So just giving a little shout out there to John Mariano. Did a fantastic job with that graphic and all the stuff that's going on here in the Outlaw Nation. All right, let's move on to the Cassian Andor news. That's right, Cassian Andor. There's Diego Luna playing that character from Rogue One. That series is coming, and that is so exciting for a lot of us who are big fans of Diego Luna and also big fans of Rogue One. The Cassian Andor series. Disney Plus launched in the UK. It's out there. So, and I think they're still waiting on The Mandalorian to watch most of the episodes of Mandalorian. I think they're dropping one at a time, or it hasn't quite 100% dropped yet. But this comes to us. There's some Cassian Andor news this morning. Practical effects expert Neil Scanlon. He was interviewed by MovieWeb talking about the series, talking about Star Wars and these kinds of things. And he said, what is fun about this in many ways? I don't think it feels different than working on a movie. He's talking about the Cassian Andor series, which is currently in pre-production, about to start shooting. It certainly doesn't feel like we are making any compromises. It's the same creative conditions in every department to do what we can do. We also have this backlog of characters. That's the news, a backlog of characters. A lot of the characters that we built for all the films either didn't make it to the final cut because that's just the way the film process happens, or that they are seen so momentarily that there is this wonderful second opportunity to bring back some of the characters that we've made and bring them to this new storyline in a more, shall we say, integrated way. He made sure to stress that integrated way. And I think it's going to be tremendous. I find that it's a second opportunity for everything that we've made, plus the opportunity of moving TV along in a sense, and what will not at all be diminished as far as the level of quality, the level of things that we're going to try and achieve. Stephen Schiff is running the show with Tony Gilroy doing additional writing and filming, and he's part of the creative team. Remember, Gilroy worked on Rogue One as well. So the question is, who do we think is going to show up in this thing? Who do we want to see? Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think we're going to get a bunch of characters that we've heard about and never got a chance to see in the series? Is that what we're getting? Or we're going to get more with General Davitz Draven? We're going to get more of that. I mean, there was hints of the connection that those two had and their history. And will we see more of that? Will we see Mon Mothma? Will we see General Dodona? Is that possible as well? Is that how you say Dodona? I hope I want to get that right. Even Ruskat Melshi, we might get some more of the Ruskat Melshi. That would be interesting. A lot of people think with Jyn Erso. I don't think we'll get anything with Jyn Erso, but nothing says that we can't have Cassian Andor crossing paths with Forrest Whitaker's character, what his situation could be down the pike as well. That could be interesting too. What is he going to confront and encounter? That will Saw Gerrera. Yeah, there it is, Saw Gerrera. So I knew it was in the head. It's early morning. It comes there eventually. But yeah, what will we have with Saw Gerrera and Cassian Andor? Will they have some kind of back and forth? Will they cross paths? Will we see the transition of Saw Gerrera from what we saw in Clone Wars to what we get in Rogue One? Will Cassian have some kind of indirect knowledge or indirect point of view to see this transition happen? Will he be a part of this? It comes in and out. We already have Ahsoka Tano coming live action to The Mandalorian, so why couldn't we have more of these characters be a part of this situation, see them transition, see them kind of grow and go through their experiences that they're going through? And that's exciting for me. He spoke to Adam Chitwood over there at Collider recently, and he talked about the Eye of Webbish bog creature. He teased that it might make it into the theatrical cut of Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. He said, I hope that we can maybe bring that back in some way, shape, or form on the TV series, or that we can revisit the character in some way, because it was a haunting image and a very unusual image, but one which I think was incredibly Star Wars. So yeah, somewhere there's footage of that. So this is exciting. There's so many possibilities here when you think about the fact that you've got all these characters that were rumored to be used and then didn't get used, but there's all the time period where they're setting this also kind of opens the door for some fun new characters to come in that we've maybe heard about in print. Read about in print or in the comic books. So those kinds of things open the door. And I haven't heard, how can I say this correctly so I don't get in trouble? Through my contacts and friends that work in the studios, I hadn't heard that this was a positive series initially. I heard there were some issues with the scripts, that it felt like a mess. There were things they were trying to clean up. So the fact that they delayed the start on this, or we're delaying the production on this, I think might turn out to be a positive and a good thing. Taking the time to revisit these scripts, revisit the overall approach to this, hopefully will lead to a fantastic series. And the idea that all these characters that Neil Scanlon was referencing, all these characters might be coming back, or at least some of these characters might be coming back, or even a few of these characters might be coming back, is a way to make the series stand out on its own and have its own voice. Me personally, of course, as a Latino, I'm a massive fan of Diego Luna stepping into this situation and leading this series, and hopefully he'll be the guy that like kind of excites people to come to see this series, because people just have a natural love for Diego Luna. And then seeing what Cassian Andor's story is, his process. Remember, he has that confrontation with Jyn Erso on the ship after she accuses him of almost killing her dad. They have this back and forth, and he says, some of us didn't get a choice in this. Some of us have been in this for a while, essentially referencing that since he was a child, he's been a rebel fighter. And we saw that in Mandalorian, how his experiences as a child really decorated his feelings about the droids and about what he does as a Mandalorian. So those kinds of things kind of might play into this series more and more. We might see some flashbacks with Cassian. We might see some references. Already we saw in the most recent episode of Clone Wars, we saw these two Latina sisters that were part of this thing with Ahsoka Tano. Not giving any spoilers away. You knew Ahsoka Tano was coming into this recent episode of Clone Wars, but we got the Latino sisters being involved in this. So all of that is a positive overall for me. I love seeing more Latino people in science fiction, certainly more Latino people in Star Wars. It drove me insane growing up as a kid, rarely seeing Latino people in any of the 80s and 90s sci-fi. It wasn't until much later with like Jimmy Smits that we finally got a Latino in space. Bro, we are coming to space. Wherever it is, Latinos will be there. I'm just letting you know, we will be there, son. We will be there. So it's about time you start adding us to these projects and to these movies and TV series. And I'm a massive fan that Star Wars has really started to embrace that more and more, for sure. All right, let's see if we got any Streamlabs here before we wrap this thing up here in the next few minutes. Let me refresh here. Okay. Anthony Persak donated. He said, I feel like I need to donate to say this, but Fury Road is the most overrated movie of the last 20 years. Fight me. I can't fight you, but I can tell you that I don't agree with you. I think Mad Max Fury Road, both in the black and white version and the original version, is a fun-ass movie to watch. Great performances from Tom Hardy and definitely from Charlize Theron. So great to see the original villain from the first movie coming back as that character, Morton Joe. That was awesome to see him in there. But also, it's a fun-ass movie and one that doesn't necessarily make Mad Max the lead of the film, which I thought was a cool, interesting way to take the series, And Imperator Furiosa is a brilliant character, and I would have loved to have seen that prequel, and hopefully maybe down the road we'll see that in 2021 with Anya Taylor-Joy. We shall see. But I don't agree with you, my man. I know Scott Mantz calls it a 2-hour car chase, but it's so much more than that. So much more than that. The visuals of it are incredible. George Miller's eye for the sand and the colors and the idea of that dude playing the rock and roll guitar. It's a nutty world, all right? It's a nutty world from the first Mad Max into the Road Warrior into Thunderdome. It's a nutty world. So Fury Road fits into the realm of the nuttiness of those first three films, but also takes it to the next level with the artistry and the cinematography within it. So I can't agree with you, Anthony, but I respect your opinion, my man. Suge Knight says, John, when will you do watch along for the top 10 versus Patriots? Yeah, that'll be one. Definitely will be one of those ones that I will do on the Patreon for sure, and I'll announce that for sure. And maybe I'll have Jeff Snyder on with me as we do the watch along for my patrons. That could be a lot of fun. Andrew G. donated here. As long as it's not too much fan service, like, hey, remember this guy? I think familiar characters showing up in Cassian would be fine if it fits for the story. Like, why were the bar guys in Jeddah City? Anyways, give me that gritty spy thriller Star Wars. Yeah, agree with you, man. Why were those bar guys in Jeddah City? What was that situation all about? It's more than just fan service. You want to see them actually weave into the story believably and organically so you can enjoy their time on screen. And you as a fan can be like, okay, this is cool. I got to see a little more of a backstory on this character. Of course, that would be fantastic as well. Tim Franco coming back at Anthony Persak. Tim Franco's given a super chat. He says, ridiculous. I'll fight you and I'll win. And he has the laughing, crying bitmojis there. Good shout out there, Tim. There are a lot of people that I think would fight Anthony on this, but there are also a lot of people who are probably on Anthony's side on this. So could be an interesting battle overall. And maybe that could be a fun new show for the Outlaw Nation. I judge it. It's called Fan Fights, and then two people are chosen and they battle it out on my channel, and I judge. That could be a lot of fun, or with a guest judge. I know there's a Schmo Bates. That's a different situation. I think it'd be kind of fun to do that maybe as a new fun show on the Outlaw Nation, a quick one to put together. But all right, thank you all so much. Got to wrap this thing up now so I can take a little bit of time to prep for the interview. Of course, I prepped already, but a little bit of time to get my mind straight before I get into the interview with Hermione Corfield. I want to thank you all so much for being a part of Mornings with the Outlaw. Every morning that you come on, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, every week. It's so much fun to see you all. I thought the Wednesday show was fantastic. We got into some personal stuff going on with some of y'all and personal stuff going on with me, and I love that exchange, the banter. Can't tell you how much I enjoy the nation, man. You guys are my lifeblood, and I can't tell you how much you give to me. As much as you tell me I give to you, you give to me, and I can't thank you enough, but I'll keep thanking you, and as long as I have breath in my body. So over 150 all in here. We're at 135 likes. Would like to, in the next 3 minutes as I wrap this thing up, I'd love you all to give it some likes and get me over 140, get me close to 150. I'd really appreciate it. You guys are awesome, and I thank you all so much. What else can I tell you? All the stuff that I said earlier about this, please follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter and on Instagram. I'm trying to get Twitter over 35,000, trying to get Instagram over 20,000. That would be so cool for me. So I appreciate you all who have already signed up. But if you haven't followed me on either of those platforms, feel free to follow me. Certainly, there's a lot of banter on Twitter and some fun pictures on Instagram and some debates on Instagram that we get into as well. That would be great for you all to follow me there. You see the Patreon. I've already talked about it a million times, but yes, there will be Patreon stuff coming down the pike. That'll be a lot of fun, like hanging with the Outlaw, like all watch-alongs, Q&As, games. Do that, www.patreon.com/John Rocha. Got multiple tiers. Got a 1, 5, 7, 25, I think, 20, 50, and $100 tier. And at the $50 and $100 tier, this is also something I should say. At the $50 and $100, at the $50 tier, you can get a half an hour with me one-on-one talking about whatever you want to talk about. You know, you got something going on in your life. You got things you're trying to get done in your world. It'll be there. One-on-ones are possible at the $100 level as well. So get involved there. We'll have an hour-long conversations, you and I, about whatever you want to talk about. So trying to open myself up more and more, become more and more available to all of you all as we go into this new period of life and what's happening here with the coronavirus. Once again, a little plug for the Mark Ellis Outlaw Nation show. Please go and take a look at that and have some fun watching that and enjoy some time with Mark Ellis. Also, please look for this interview I'm going to have on the Deep Cut. Always, publicists are starting to reach back out to me, so it could be fun. Those are fun things that are happening that I'm enjoying, that publicists are reaching out to have conversations with their clients. And of course, Dark Side of the Ring review on the Strong Style show that I've here on the Outlaw Nation channel. So please give that a like and please give it a view. And I think you'll enjoy that with me and Aaron Turner. All right, wrapping it up there. I love you all madly. Appreciate everything you do for the Outlaw Nation. Appreciate you coming aboard this morning. Make sure you go out there and you take care of yourself. Wash your hands. Be healthy. Be safe. And don't put yourself in a position to spread this thing to anybody or get it spread to you. I want you here in the nation. I want you back with me starting next week again. And don't forget, later on today, Video Drew and I doing a special Outlaw Nation show. We're just talking about a whole bunch of stuff. I think it'll be around 5 p.m., so tune in for that. And Anthony Persak, one final stream lad, says, I completely acknowledge I'm in the minority, LOL. Well, it's good to know where you stand, Anthony, and you were aware of it. So, all right, much love to all of you. And like I say when I end some of my shows, whatever you need to do to get through the next second, next minute, next hour, next day, next week, next month, next year, please find your way to do it. I want you all to stay happy and healthy and safe. And I know these times are tough. People are losing jobs. People are getting employment. People are getting furloughed. But just know that, we got you here in the nation. Reach out to us. Reach out to me. My DMs have been open on Twitter and on Instagram. So reach out and do that. And let's have a conversation if you need it. But go back and watch my content as well to make you laugh, or any of the SEN content we got going on here in the world. And that'll put you in a right frame of mind, I hope. All right. Much love to all of you. And we'll see you. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week. Or maybe we'll see you later today with that Outlaw Nation show with Video Drew. All right. Take care until then. Love you.